welcome back to our channel. So some of you, I hope most of you, have seen our pregnancy announcement. So we are pregnant again. We struggled with infertility for 6 years and eventually got pregnant. And Isaac, I'm sitting in his room now, he's at creche at the moment. Isaac is now 11 months old. Actually, within a week he is going to turn 1 year old. And yes, we just found out like 2 or 3 weeks ago that I'm pregnant. So when I announced it and when I've been speaking about it on social media, like I said, that we are quite shocked and we are speechless and we are surprised. So many people actually assumed that this pregnancy was not planned, but it definitely was. So let me tell you all about it. So for those of you who have been following our journey, I found out that I have endometriosis. I found that out in September 2018 when I actually did a laparoscopy, and the fertility clinic said, well, there's nothing left to look for except for endometriosis or growths or something that can't be picked up by an ultrasound. So yes, they did the operation and they actually found quite serious endometriosis, and then they removed it. And most of you know our story, but then 4 months later, in December 2018, we were about to start with fertility treatments. So I was on a testosterone cream for a month as preparation for an IVF. And we actually bought all of the injections and everything, and we were just waiting for day 1 of my cycle to start with the injections, and then actually we got pregnant naturally. Once again, it was not like a coincidence. We tried very hard, and it was really hard work under very difficult circumstances, which maybe I'll tell you about one day. But so yes, we absolutely did try to get pregnant naturally with Isaac, and then obviously it worked and we didn't have to do the IVF. So one could argue that the testosterone cream then played a role. Francia was also on supplements. So there was some treatment involved, although not that invasive. Okay, so this time around, so what happened is then obviously I got pregnant, and Isaac was born in August 2019. It is now August 2020. So I breastfed Isaac until he was about 8 months old. So as long as you are pregnant and as long as you breastfeed, in theory, endometriosis, can't return or it can't exist. What then happened was I stopped breastfeeding, and I thought, okay, well, I actually don't know what is going to happen now. I don't know what to look out for. When will the endometriosis come back? Is it something that you can only see on an ultrasound? I've had painful periods forever. Even right after the laparoscopy, it was still painful. So we decided to go back to the fertility clinic. We had an appointment in the middle of, or like towards the end of July. A little bit later than the middle of July. And we actually just had a conversation with the fertility specialist. For those of you who don't know, those appointments are really expensive. It was 2,250 Rand to sit down for like 40 minutes and just to talk. We were obviously previous patients, but if you don't see them, I think in 6 months time, then you have to pay the full fee again. So anyway, we went back to the fertility specialist. We said, right, this was the situation. We tried to get pregnant for a very long time, 6 going on to 7 years. Then I was pregnant, I breastfed, but now it's been 2 or 3 months that I stopped. So what now? Like, what will be the next step in order for us to have more children? Because obviously, well, I say obviously, we've always wanted more than one child. But when you struggle with infertility for so long, we really got to the point where we said, God, even if it's just one, even if we are supposed to have one child, please just let us have that experience and we will be grateful and happy. But it's always been our dream to have more than one child. So we don't have the luxury that many people have to like decide, you know, how big the gap should be between our children, how many years would be ideal, because we had a late start. So I'm turning 35 in a couple of months, and yes, so we didn't have time to go, oh well, we'll wait 2 or 3 years and then we'll start trying again, because obviously we know it can take time. So if it takes another 3, 4, 5, 6 years, then we're past 40. So we decided that we are going to try to have another baby as soon as we can. So anyway, back to the fertility specialist. So yes, we went to see him and we discussed a number of things. So he explained to us, you know, that the best time to start would actually be now, because your odds decrease by, I think you only have, it decreases by 20% once you turn 35, the woman. And obviously that is now the fertility specialist or the fertility clinic's stats. So that is now given that you are on treatment, that you know everything is observed, everything is watched very closely. So that your odds decrease by 20% if like you have a lot of intervention. So that's quite a lot. I had some concerns because I have some health issues. I have high cholesterol, I'm overweight, I have problems with my feet. I did speak about this in a previous video. So I told him and I said, listen, I think that I should maybe take 3 or 4 months to just kind of try and sort that out, so that I'm in a healthier, you know, spot or space if we fall pregnant again. And he said, yes, you can do that. I would advise you to start trying to get pregnant immediately, because you can always address those issues later, and it's not the end of the world. It's not like you're in such dire state that you know you won't be able to carry a baby successfully. So I would say start immediately. But okay, if you want to take a break, or you know you want to just give it some time to look at these issues, then I would advise you to take this medication that will basically stop your period. So that means you won't ovulate. That means that you won't be able to get pregnant, but it will pause the endometriosis, right? So when we left that appointment, our plan was that I was going to take this medication for 3 to 4 months, which then would mean that I would not be able to get pregnant, but it will give us time in terms of the endometriosis. So when we were there at the appointment, he said, well, let's do an ultrasound. Let's see, you know, where we're at, and let's see what's going on. So the ultrasound was extremely painful. Most of you know I had a big operation after Isak was born, so I think I'm really still recovering after that. So he did the ultrasound and he said, well, you are going to ovulate within the next 2 or 3 days. I see a follicle, and on the one side, I think on my left side, he couldn't really see anything and it was very painful. And he said, well, that might be endometriosis that has already returned. That could be the reason. So then when we went home, we said, okay, so this was going to be the plan. We're going to kind of pause the endometriosis, and then when we start trying, we're going to do it scientifically. We're not going to waste time by just trying on our own. We're going to go to the clinic and do it scientifically from the start. But then Fransha said, listen, he did see a follicle. You are going to ovulate soon. Let's just try this 1 month before we start with treatment. Let's just do it this way. Let's you know, try once, and then if it's not successful, then we start with the treatment. And I said, okay, well, we have nothing to lose. And then obviously then we tried on our own, and then I looked at the calendar and I said, I'm going to make the next appointment for after when my cycle was supposed to start, so that I can first know whether I'm already pregnant or not, obviously before we look into treatments. In the meantime, I also looked at the medication that was prescribed for me to kind of pause my periods. So at that stage we said, first of all, yes, we're going to try on our own. If it doesn't work, we're going to then pause for the endometriosis, and then we're going to start with the treatment. But when I looked at the medication and I looked at all of the side effects, I was like, there's not a chance on earth that I'm going to put this in my body, because you know, side effects were things like gaining weight, depression, feeling down, increased risk for breast cancer, and I just felt like I don't want to mess with my periods like at all. I think so. Then when I looked at that and I said, listen, I'm not going to use that medication, we said, okay, new plan, we're going to try on our own, and then if it doesn't work, the very next month we're going to start with treatment. We're not going to pause it. I'll just keep on trying to lose weight and look at my health issues and stuff in the background. By the way, 3 different doctors told me this. I said, I want to lose a little bit of weight first. I want to, you know, get things under control. And all 3 of them said that they hear what I'm saying, but they think it's more important to start trying to get pregnant. And then you can always sort out the other issues later. Yes, so then we tried on our own, and on the 2nd of August, it was a Sunday, I think I was supposed to start my period either that day or the Friday before that, because it's been a little bit weird since I stopped breastfeeding. Sometimes it would come and go, and I wasn't always as, you know, on time as always, but I kept on feeling like I was going to start. You know, you get those cramps. Like I would just say to Francia, oh, imagine I am pregnant, imagine it worked, and then I would go, oh no, it feels like I'm going to start. You know, you get those light cramps and stuff like that. And yes, so we went to eat out, and we went to get a pregnancy test afterwards, and when we got home, that is then the video that you saw. For those of you who don't understand Afrikaans, sorry, it was in Afrikaans. I said to Francia, should we make a video? And he was like, no, I don't think so, because I don't know if it's going to be positive. And I said, but what if it is? Like, just imagine. And then this time we'll have a video actually of us finding out. And to be honest, I quite forgot about the video. I was so ecstatic. Yeah, it was really such a special moment. So the reason why I've been saying that we are a little bit in shock and we're speechless, and it was such an amazing surprise, is not because it was not planned, because it was definitely planned. It's just because it actually worked after trying once. Like, it took us years, and this time it took one try. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the shock and the surprise and the speechlessness comes from. Like, we can't believe it. Like, I keep on saying I can't believe it. And I've had so many people say, you know, that they kind of, you know, think that it wasn't planned, or they say I assume that it wasn't planned. But yes, it definitely was. So I'm now in my 8th week of pregnancy. Our first ultrasound is next week, and we will keep you up to date. I've been saying to my friends and family that you know, sometimes you have a feeling and then you don't say anything, and afterwards it did turn out that way, and then you feel kind of sorry that you didn't say anything, because then you can't say I had a feeling. So I'm hesitant to say this because obviously feelings can be wrong. In this case, it will not be a bad thing if my feelings are wrong. But first of all, I have a feeling it's going to be a girl. And second of all, I also have a feeling it's going to be twins. I might be wrong with both, and it might be one beautiful, amazing little boy, and we will be so happy. So we absolutely have no preference in terms of gender. We've been on this road for such a long time that we know if we haven't learned, if we have learned anything, it will be this, that God is in control. We can do whatever we want. Ultimately, He decides and He makes the final decision. I think it's also very one-dimensional to think about, getting pregnant in terms of you are getting a baby or you are being gifted this little child, because that's definitely true. But also it's an actual person being born that is sent to earth on a specific time for a specific reason, that was created by God for a specific reason. And there's a much bigger picture than only, how we see our families and how we see our nuclear family. So that is how we think about it. We know that God is in control and that He will ultimately, it's about what He decides. With Isaac, I knew he was going to be a boy because of a prophecy, and I also knew from a very young age. I just had this feeling that, you can go this way and that way and this way, but my first child will be a boy. I always had that feeling. And if I might go so far as to say that this time I have the same feeling, that I think you can go this way or that way, but it will be a girl. But if it's a boy, it will not at all be a disappointment or anything. We are extremely privileged to be able to say that we are pregnant and we are expecting a little miracle, a second miracle into our family. So yes, but I just want to put that out there. That's the feelings I have. Maybe all my feelings are wrong, and that's okay too. Thank you very much for watching. I have so many updates that I need to do, one of which is our new house and doing a house tour and everything, but we're still busy renovating. You always want it kind of to be perfect before you show anyone. So with lockdown, it was really difficult to sort everything out. But anyway, so that is how we got pregnant the second time around. That was kind of the behind the scenes story. And we are so excited about this pregnancy. I'm going to share as much as I can. If you follow me on Instagram as well, I do weekly bumpies over there, just like with the previous pregnancy. I'm sure so many people are like, oh, here we go again, because I'm a sharer. It's so nice seeing all of you, and please leave a comment or let me know if there's anything specific that you would like to know about our journey or this pregnancy, and I'll try my best to make a video about that. It helps if you give me some ideas and some, things that you are interested in. See you in the next video. Bye.